the story of a brave, honest IAS officer, and yes, there is still such a thing, and her taking on the Akhilesh Yadav government. By now, Durga Shakti Nagpal is a national name, and she is a national name because she's been battling political demons. The UP government has transferred her out using a demolition of a mosque as an excuse for her actually taking on the sand mafia. On the buck stops here today, we're asking whether when it comes to the IAS, good guys, or in this case, good girls, finish last. Let's take you now to the political punch tonight. Is there space for honest bureaucrats in this system, and is any political party above reproach? Let's introduce our panel this evening. We're joined by Vikram Singh Mehta. He's currently the chairman of Brookings India, but he has actually in his past life been an IAS officer who hastily left. We're also joined by Harsh Mandar. We know him today as writer and activist, but he's been a much transferred bureaucrat as well. Also joining us tonight, Harish Salve, former Solicitor General of India and one of our most outspoken commentators. And joining me tonight is Narinder Singh Bhati. He's the chairman of the UP Agro-Industrial Corporation and a Samajwadi Party leader. Let me start with you, Harish Salve, before I get Mr. Bhati into this debate. What do you make of what's happening with Durga Shakti Nagpal?
You know, when I read the newspaper report, I thought possibly the media is exaggerating and it couldn't be as bad. But when I saw the comments which were being made about the lady today, I think what has happened is a very sorry commentary on what the civil service is being sought to be reduced to. And if this were to happen, we might as well write off Indian constitutional democracy. I'm sorry, I'm not being alarmist. The whole structure of our system is based that the civil service will operate independent of their political masters. If this lady, let's take the minister's argument at face value. If this lady ordered the demolition of a wall of a mosque and she did it wrongly,
yes,
the minister has no business to suspend her. There are other procedures which the mosque people could have resorted to have redress in law. But if this kind of an attitude is brought to bear, that every time a civil servant takes any action, that civil servant will be suspended if that action leads to some kind of tension or upsets vote banks, then I'm sorry, we might as well wind up the civil service and let lawlessness prevail.
Very strong words there from Harish Salve. भाटी साहब, आप ये सुन रहे हैं, यहाँ पे बोला जा रहा है कि अगर मॉस्क डेमोलिशन के साथ कोई तकलीफ थी तो आप इंक्वायरी कर लेते, आप उनसे सवाल जवाब कर लेते, लेकिन सस्पेंशन ये एक एरोगेंस है। और उसके बाद जो आज यूपी की सरकार के मंत्रियों के बयान आए हैं, आजम खान का बयान सुने आप, एवरीवन हैज द राइट टू नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज, व्हाई बी पेटी, दिस इज नेचर्स गिफ्ट, इफ यू कैन लूट इट लूट इट। ये बोलते हैं राम नाम की लूट है, लूट सको तो लूट करो। ये क्या तरीका है भाटी साहब, ये क्या तरीका है एक ईमानदार अफसर के साथ बर्ताव जिस तरह से हुआ है?
नहीं, इसमें इसको तथ्यों को तोड़ मरोड़ कर पेश किया जा रहा है। ये पहली बात तो सैंड माफिया का कोई मैटर नहीं है। जहां तक रेत माफियाओं का सवाल है, उसके लिए कार्रवाई हमेशा होती रही है। पिछली सरकारों में भी रेत माफिया काम कर रहे थे और लगभग वही अब भी कर रहे हैं
जी।
और सरकार उनके प्रति कटिबद्ध है, कार्रवाई करा रही है। उसमें लेखपाल से लेकर कलेक्टर तक, सिपाही से लेकर कप्तान तक और खनन विभाग के चपरासी से लेकर डायरेक्टर तक सब लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं। सभी लोगों को खनन माफिया को
आपने ये सस्पेंशन क्यों किया? ये सस्पेंशन भाटी साहब क्यों किया?
नहीं, ये सस्पेंशन का खनन माफिया से कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
फिर भी
ये
चाहे जो भी मुद्दा हो, व्हाई सस्पेंशन?
19 जुलाई
आप ट्रांसफर भी कर सकते थे, सस्पेंड क्यों किया आपने?
19 जुलाई को बीटा फर्स्ट ग्रेटर नोएडा में एक मंदिर की मूर्ति उखाड़ी गई और 20 और 21 जुलाई को दुर्गा शक्ति नागपाल जी भी वहां क्यों कानून व्यवस्था देख रही थी, उन्होंने भी मूर्तियों को वहां से उठाने की कोशिश की। महिलाओं ने उसका विरोध किया। आज भी महिलाएं टेंट लगा के पूजा कर रही हैं और वहां बैठी हुई हैं।
Okay. Now you say this has nothing to do with the mafia. You say this has nothing to do with the mafia.
27 तारीख को
जी
नहीं, 27 तारीख को जो मस्जिद की तामीरात लोग कर रहे थे, उसकी दीवार गिराई गई तो वहां पर जो लोग आज विरोध में आए हैं, जो लोग आज पक्ष ले रहे हैं, वही 20 जुलाई को कह रहे थे कि समाजवादी पार्टी हिंदू विरोधी है और मंदिर गिरवा दिया, कोई कार्रवाई नहीं कर रहे।
ठीक है, मैं आपकी बात समझ गई। आपने कहा कि इसका सैंड माफिया से कोई लेना देना नहीं। लेट मी टेक दिस बैक टू आवर पैनल। हरीश साल्वे, you've heard this detailed explanation. Does it convince you at all?
Not at all. Let me tell you. First of all, the coincidence is far too stark.
Yeah.
But secondly, let me take the point. All right, if she has gone and demolished some property, there are procedures of law. She can't go with a stick in her hand and do it. She must have passed statutory orders. The minister has no business going suspending civil servants who pass statutory orders. If the orders are wrongly passed, they are challenged in a court. There are remedies available. And if a court has passed strictures that the order has been illegally passed, then I can understand the government acting. Here the government knee jerks and goes suspending officers. What is this not a message of terror? That if you act in a particular manner, sorry, your job is gone.
Absolutely. And Vikram Mehta, if I can get you in, you spent 2 to 3 years as a bureaucrat, and you left because you said it wasn't the same service that it was in your father's time. Now, Humphrey Appleby said in Yes Ministers that bureaucrats are empty vessels into which ministers pour their wisdom. Bureaucrats are sometimes faulted for saying Ji Mantriji Ji when they don't have to. What was your experience as a bureaucrat when you see what's happening to Durga, Shakti, Nagpal? I guess you're going, thank God I left the bureaucracy.
Well, I mean, Barka, I left the bureaucracy 30 years back, so it would be a bit unfair for me to comment on the state of the bureaucracy today based on first-hand experience. But let me just say that I'm an observer and also in some senses a player with the bureaucracy over the last so many years, and my sense is, my deep sense is that there are two fundamental issues that we have now that we are confronting. One is, of course, the politicization of an institution of the bureaucracy, and this is very troublesome. But the other really worrying trend is the divergence in the value systems between the political class and the honest, efficient bureaucrat. If a political group is casteist, if they are focused on very narrow, ascriptive identity politics, and the bureaucracy who are supposed to respond to the policies enunciated by the political class are efficient and are required to deliver, there is a fundamental divergence. Unless these two value systems coincide, we're not going to be able to function. It's an unsustainable situation. And what we are seeing, and maybe this is an example of what we are seeing, is an honest bureaucrat who was trying to do her job, confronting a political group that had much narrower identity-based sort of interests, and interests that were perhaps in partnership with a business class that again had different values from the bureaucracy.